All right, I'm going to show you the end result of my custom hard drive mount for the Megatouch Force units. This one specifically I just did is for an EVO. You can do this for the Edge Elite. You can do this for the Radeons, the converted Radeons. Um, Basically any Force unit where you are forced to use IDE cables, because the motherboards on the Force machines only use IDE connections for the hard drives. There are no SATA ports on them. So it basically means that you have to use an IDE to SATA conversion method. All right, so I'm going to show you what I did for this EVO right here. All right, here's the EVO. See, I was working on some fan stuff here. All right, so you open the machine here, and here's where the hard drive sits. All right, so you see this is the touchscreen controller. And this is the, what would you call this? It's like a covering plate that covers the bracket for the hard drive. This kind of just lives on top of the hard drive on itself. This, when you loosen this nut here, this all folds out. You can just take this out and set it down. And let me see. You got the hard drive mount. Let me see if I can do this real quick, just for the sake of show and tell. All right, so, all right, see, this comes off. Here's your hard drive. All right, so this is how you can put a solid state in here. You got a solid state drive. It is hooked into this docking station, which then has the exterior connectors up top. There are screws on the back of this to keep it fastened and keep it stuck there permanent. Well, not permanently. I mean, you can undo the screws, but for the sake of like moving the machine around, this is not going to shake loose at all. Screws in the back. You've got the main ports up top, which are, you need to get this camera to focus, which this SATA to IDE board right here, guys, is plugged into the secondary SATA ports on the top. And then you've got your double-sided foam tape, and then to reinforce everything, we've got hot glue on the sides so that this can't shake loose. Now, only time will tell if the hot glue is going to be affected by the internal heat of this machine. So far it hasn't melted it, but that was one thing I didn't consider. Anyway, so far so good. You got your Molex power, you got your IDE cable, and this dock essentially mimics the shape and size of an old school full-size IDE hard drive, which would have been in here originally with these, with your Molex power and your IDE cable. This is mimicking that. So that gives you the screw holes for the mount. See? There's your screw holes through the rubber cushions. There's essentially your hard drive. But now you have a solid state. Locked and loaded. This, I'm telling you, I did not find anyone recommending this. I just came up with this on my own. Through browsing Amazon and just trial and error and testing different things. This right now is probably the best way you could possibly do this. I can't think of any other reason to do any other way than this. So I'm pretty proud of this right now. So let me put this back on. Let's see here. This goes back on here. You got your cables. This goes here. All right, and then you have to tighten this up. All right, so that's it. I'll close this, make sure everything's tight. All right, so that's the new method. That's the brand new method I just came up with. And I'm telling you, anybody else that works on these machines, which there's not a lot of people out there, but I guarantee you, anybody that's working on refurbishing one of these Force units, I'm telling you right now, when they see my video, they're going to do exactly what I did. Exactly what I did. There's literally no better way to do it. I mean, you kind of have to do some trial and error to like figure out how to install it, because that back bracket that's behind everything, you have to remove that to get the hard drive mount into that. I'm going to call it a bracket, right? You have to take that out, and you have to, get your own screws. You're going to have to go get your own screws and make sure they're the right length. You can get like a box of a multi-kit of screws that are threaded correctly, and you can test out once to find the right length. But once you figure it out, you figure out the screws you need, and I would say which screws you need, but I'd have to go over there and look at the box and pick the ones out I used. I'm not going to do that right now. Once you piece it together and you figure out how to do it, you're only going to use this method. You can't tell me that a 3D printed, although the 3D printed mounts that I've seen people make, they're good, they work. But then the other issue you have besides mounting the drive is that damn conversion board. Because if you have that conversion board just sitting there, like just simply plugged in, and just sitting there loose, you'll get away with it if it just stays in your house. If you keep the machine in your house, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But as soon as you start moving that thing around, as soon as you put it in a car and take it around, or the number one way that it wouldn't work is if you ship it. If you ship it across the country, you put it in a box, I guarantee you that thing's going to shake loose. You may get away with it, may not. But the method that I just came up with, that fucking thing is going to stay solid. That ain't coming apart. Ain't nothing jiggling loose on that. So yeah, that's the new method. And I'm telling you, anybody else that works on these is going to straight up copy my technique.